everyone, you're welcome to the Total Education Show.
School is not just about academic subjects alone. School is also about co-curricular activities. School is engagement with fun. School is a lot more than just the cognitive side of things.
Development of a child is 360, and that's why we have tagged this program Total Education Show.
Team is here to raise kids that will identify the problems, come together as a group, inquire why this problem happened, and see a way to correct the error.
We normally say that we have 4 baskets of rights. So four baskets
of rights.
Of children.
Oh, awesome.
As provided for by the Child Rights Law.
At the end of 3-year training in technical colleges, students are competent enough to take any job.
Sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello friends, hello everyone at home. My name is Wumi Tolualalade, your anchor on the Total Education Show. Yes, Total Education Show. The show is put together and packaged by the Lagos State Ministry of Education for your co-curricular aspect of education. So you have a total and a valued education system even in your homes. Yes. Now, what areas will we be looking at? We're going to be looking at STEM issues. We're going to be looking at TVET, and we'll be looking at, yes, child protection issues. Everything that has to do with child protection and advocacy of your children, even as they are home. Now, do you want to give me feedback? Yes, I want to hear from you. You can send in your feedbacks to me on this WhatsApp number 081-26601-889. Yes, WhatsApp messages only on 081-26601-889. Yes, I'm waiting and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Welcome to the Total Education Show. Yes, today we're going to begin a series of episodes and we're looking at issues bordering on child protection and safeguarding. We want to look at the rights and responsibilities of children, and we'll also be talking about who exactly is a child. Yes, there are some arguments about who exactly is a child. We'll be looking at that and also the Child Rights Law of Lagos State Government. And we have in the studio today with me a barrister at law, Mrs. Titilola Adeniyi Vivo. She will be joining us today. I think it's Vivo Adeniyi, yes, sorry, pardon that. She'll be joining us today and she'll be able to give us more clarity on all these issues that has to do with child protection and safeguarding as it regards to citizens of Lagos State and residents of Lagos State. We have so many things to offer you, even as we begin this series of episodes. And I want you to stay and join us every time that we come on with this show on your station at the same time, and every week as we run the series. I want you to know that we want to hear from you. We don't want to just tell you things or show you things or discuss issues. We would love to hear from you. So send your feedback, your comments, your questions, just in case you could have one issue that has been bothering your mind. Yes, are you sensing that child, your neighbors, whatever, or the child that is with your neighbor is being abused? It's our responsibility to give a call or to send a message to what we'll be hearing from the barrister today. So please feel free to send all this to us on the number showing on your screen. And as well, we want you to sit down, relax. Yes, get a pen and paper and join us on the show today as we'll hear and we'll discuss issues bordering on child abuse. Welcome back. We have in the studio Mrs. Vaivor Adeniyi Titilola. She's a legal practitioner and she'll be shedding more light on issues bordering on child abuse and child safeguarding. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you very much for coming and for obliging us. I want to commend you on your work so far as regards domestic and sexual violence response in Lagos State. Mrs. Vaivor Adeniyi is a legal practitioner, and she's normally referred to as the Merchant of Hope by all because of what she has been able to do so far. She's a coordinator of Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the DSVRT. And she has facilitated, I think, 2 landmark executive orders, yes, by the Lagos State government that any sexual offender knows that they don't have anywhere to hide anymore. Thank you very much for all your good work.
Thank you so much.
We're very happy to have you here today so that we can know for sure from an expert issues that border around child protection. So to begin, we'll be asking Mrs. Vaivor to just look into what does child abuse really mean. When we're talking child abuse, I want you to tell our listeners what exactly do we mean by that.
So thank you once again for having me.
You're welcome.
So child abuse is basically anything that is done that is not in the best interest of the child. So that's anything that you can think of that is not in that child's best interest.
Right.
Is it in terms of behavior? Is it in terms of relationship with the child? Is it in terms of the child's rights not being adequately enforced and implemented? So anything that is done that is not in the best interest of the child,
That child.
can be tantamount to child abuse.
Wow, thank you for clarifying that. So when we say a child, anything that is done against the child is an abuse. There must be rights that all children have. Can you please shed a little bit of light on that?
Yes, so for us in Lagos State, we have what we call the Child's Rights Law. It's basically the enactment, the law that provides for all rights and responsibilities of children. And we normally say that we have 4 baskets of rights. So four baskets of rights
of
children.
Ooh, awesome.
As provided for by the Child's Rights Law and even the Constitution of Nigeria. So we have the survival rights.
Okay.
We have the developmental rights. We have the participation rights, and then of course protection rights. So very quickly, right to life, right to have a name.
Okay.
Right
Those ones they teach them in the school.
Exactly. A child has the right to education. A child has the right to good medical care, immunization for babies. It is a right, you know, right to be protected from harm, right to freedom of association, right to freedom of religion.
Okay, so a child can actually tell you.
A child is a person. A child is a
First
person
of
in a
all,
small form. But a child is a person, and that child has rights. It's just that parents are supposed to help us form them, you know, into maturity. But they have rights, and they must also participate in anything that concerns them. And that's why it's important that when we're doing interventions or advocacy that concerns children, they must be carried along in the process, because we are at the end of the day, we are trying to safeguard their rights.
Yes. Yes, definitely. I'm sure you, my listeners, you can just hear from her that as a child you do have rights, and your rights to good quality education, rights to medical care, and of course you have like 4 basket of rights. And I'm very sure that they already, some of them already know it. I think in the curriculum right from the primary section, you have them being taught. They teach you all your rights as a child. And there are some other things that, you know, we can relate to this. Like some children, for instance, they will just be like, I have right to, don't do this to me. You better be very careful or else,
I'll report you.
But in Nigeria, we don't have that. I don't think we have the opportunity for the children to just pick a phone and then call like it is.
Oh, we do.
Really?
We actually do, because part of the advocacy is to go to schools to empower children on, you know, their rights, information about body safety, protection, and then if something is happening to you that you are not comfortable with, you have a duty to report. So we actually have a short code, *6820# that children actually use.
Well, I think we'll run that.
Yes, we have a short code, *6820#.
Yes, awesome.
And of course our hotline. So we actually have children call in and report their parents.
Wow.
Definitely.
So on that note, I want us to quickly take a look at this video, and then when we come back, we continue our conversation with Mrs. Favour Adeniyi. Yes, welcome back. I'm sure you enjoyed that clip. We want to go straight into the roles of parents, the roles of the teacher, the roles of the caregivers in the schools or at home, because you could have someone like your senior brother or your uncle, your cousin, your neighbor watching over children, particularly now that we have all of them at home because of the shutdown of schools. And what do you think, what do you say that is actually the role of all these stakeholders as concerning enforcing the rights of children?
Okay, so the parents, of course, are the ones that create a foundation for everything any other agency or person is going to build on. So at that level, we believe that it's the role of parents to inculcate right values in their children. We believe that it's the role of parents to empower their children, to develop that bond, that relationship with them, so that if anything is happening to them that they're not comfortable with, they should be the first point of call to report to. So we believe that that's really the primary role of the parent. And of course, enforce the rights of these children, ensure that they have access to the best kind of education they can afford per time, access to medical support, freedom of association, the right to peaceful home, and all of that. The right to be in a home that is free from violence.
Yeah.
Children have a right to live in a peaceful environment so that they can blossom and they can flourish. So we believe that's the primary role.
What of neglect?
Neglect is actually at the heart of child abuse. We know that children are already vulnerable to abuse. But then a child who is neglected is more prone to falling prey to any form of abuse, be it physical, emotional neglect, or sexual abuse. And so for schools play a very pivotal role. And that's one of the reasons why in 2014, we developed the mandated reporting policy in Lagos, which basically mandates all child-centered institutions and all institutions that have dealings with children to report actual or suspected cases of child abuse. So teachers, educators, school administrators, anybody that has interface with children is a mandated reporter. If you see something, you say something, and you do something. And it is so because before the lockdown, our children are in school for at least 7 hours.
Almost the better part of the day.
And we believe that teachers are in a very, very vantage role to see signs. A child that used to be a high flyer, all of a sudden the grades are dropping. All children have gone home. A child is looking behind, doesn't want to go home. We actually had a case like this.
Wow.
In the school. God bless the social worker. She noticed this child had been withdrawn, and the child was hesitant on going on. So she noticed it the first day. She took a note, moved on. She noticed it the second day. She approached the child, "What's going on?" And the child said, "Today is Friday. If I go home now, my mom is going for a video. My my stepfather is going to sexually abuse me."
Oh my goodness.
So immediately the social worker obviously had to activate the whole referral pathway to immediately rescue that child. So that social worker saw something, she said something, and she did something as a mandated reporter. So everybody has a role.
What of the community?
Well, you know, before
like
they
the
used
community,
to say,
the environment.
They used to say that a child is raised by the community. Yes.
Like in those days.
In those days.
Where we were growing up.
So we make up the community, isn't it? So all of us are mandated reporters. If we see something, we should say something. We should
do something.
Especially if it concerns children. Because children they are vulnerable. There's the people that are supposed to assist them or protect their rights. Statistics have shown are the ones that are abusing them.
At this point, I want you to do something that we didn't do. Can you just tell us who a child is?
A child is any person below the age of 18 years old.
Yeah.
As provided for by the Constitution and the Child's Rights Law of Lagos State.
Yes.
Any person below the age of 18.
18.
And a child cannot give consent to any sexual activity.
So it's not that she comes to me, she's the one, she's dressed somehow,
or
she's wearing knickers, or the boy is always exposing his genitals or whatever.
As far as the person
you don't have the right
18,
to violate
you don't.
any child.
And it's strictly liability. And in Lagos, it's life imprisonment.
Life, good. So you hear it. It's life imprisonment. So nobody should say we're under one mental issues or whatever. I mean, it's not even allowed. It's so, how do I call it? It's barbaric. Exactly. Because when you see a child and you start fantasizing about having carnal knowledge of a child, or you neglect your children at home under the saying that you want to make ends meet or whatever, or you, like you said, that the right to participation, you deny your child the right of relating with people, you lock them in. You know, there are some things we hear in the school, and you have children that are probably being violated, some being abused, like physical abuse. Yes. Emotional abuse, mental, different ways that these children cannot just cope
and
with
they
education.
Cannot be who they are supposed to be because they have these issues at the home front.
So we can see we all have a role to play. So if you're in the community, you live as a neighbor, you constantly hear that child being physically abused, you don't keep quiet.
It concerns you.
Yes.
You are a mandated reporter. Your duty is to report. Give government, NGOs the necessary information, and your identity will remain confidential.
Yes, very confidential. So nobody will tell anybody that you are the one that reported. So you remain anonymous. Please, as we round off now, thank you very much for telling us all this. I'm sure our listeners have been able to learn a few things more than what is flying around now about abuse. And please, meet us next time, same station, same time, as we continue these conversations. But before we go, I want you to take a look at some few clips and some few things that we need to see so that we know that what we're talking about is for real. Mrs. Viver, we're very, very happy that you could take out of your busy schedule to be with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we're looking forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much. Hold on and take a look.
Dele Amu is a 12-year-old boy. He doesn't attend school and he lives with his aunt at Mushin. He usually stays at a neighbor's apartment because his aunt does not come till 6 p.m. during the working days. His aunt came home last week Friday and began physically abusing Dele as she always does every night, leaving him with deep marks and bruises all over his body. A mandated reporter found Dele in the neighborhood and made this report via the star 6820 # platform. The mandated reporter in furtherance sent a mail giving the details of the case, pictures evidencing the allegation. The DSVRT caseworker calls the mandated reporter to confirm the reports and extract more details such as the name of the child, residential address, and the name of his parents.
Thank you for making this report. Can we have the name of the child, the age, address, and the name of his parents?
Caseworker thereafter writes a letter about the case, including the details about the child with pictures evidencing the allegation to the Child Protection Unit, CPU, the Secretariat Ikeja, in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Immediately, rescue operation commenced between the Child Protection Unit and the Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, visiting the Mushin Police Division, informing them of the case. The police thereafter joined the team and rescued Dele. Dele was put in a shelter some hours later and was taken to the Primary Health Care Center, Mushin, for treatment. The Mushin Police Division later that night arrested Dele's aunt and charged her to court for child abuse. Dele was reunited with a trusted family member and is being followed up.
Yes, thank you for being a part of the show today. We have come to the end of today's episode, and we look forward to having you on next time. Same station, same time, next week. Now, I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to those that make this program possible. Without whose contribution and support, we won't be able to bring this show to your homes. I want to say thank you to the Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, for making sure that every child in the state is catered for and ensuring that we will bring to your screen all that you need to know, even though the schools are on shutdown right now because of the pandemic. And we want to say thank you to the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Mrs. Folashade Adifisayo, for her large heart and for her thinking about our children at every point in time, ensuring that learning does not end even as we have the issues going on right now because of the coronavirus pandemic. We thank the Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Education, all the Tutor General Permanent Secretaries of the Lagos State Ministry of Education Districts 1 to 6, and also all directors and all staff, the teachers and non-teaching staff of the Lagos State Ministry of Education. We say thank you for putting out and doing your best to ensure that learning continues. I want to say thank you to everyone watching this show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. And we assure you that we're always ready and willing to hear from you so that we can know how to serve you better. Please feel free to send your comments, your questions, your contributions, your criticisms, yes, to the number showing on your screen so that we can be able to meet your needs as we look at all issues bordering on co-curricular aspect of education, ensuring that we continue to give you total education in Lagos State. And on this note, I'm signing out today. Looking forward to having you or seeing you next week. Same station, same time. And please do be safe. Do not expose yourself to the predators, and be very sure that all those your rights as a child are given to you. Yes, not in a harsh way, but parents, try to bring your children close. Be observant. Community people, please keep an eye. Keep a very listening ear to everything that goes around. Be observant and be very careful. I remain your host, your anchor on this show, and I say thank you. See you next week. Bye for now.